L to the Y to the A to the N. What's that spell?
What's it spell?
Lion! Lion, 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 lion. I am Lucy.
I am Ryan.
And we are Lion Productions.
And we ain't lying. Bam.
Usually I start off every day checking email, and that kind of leads where my day might end up, what I find in there. Sometimes I come to work with goals of what I want to get accomplished, but the messages, whether it's text messages, phone calls, emails, kind of directs where my day goes from there.
What would you say the best thing about your job is?
Well, I think anything in education, the best part of it is being around the kids. Probably the best part about being the superintendent is that now all of the kids are my kids. So, when I was the principal, I just dealt with grades 7 through 12, but now I get to, know kids at the elementary and get to be a part of more kids' lives, even though I'm not around them near as much as I was when I was the principal.
What would you say the worst thing is about being the superintendent?
Well, other than calling snow days and dealing with COVID, probably the pace of it just very slow, and probably also the one thing that when you get to be superintendent, just like when you're in charge of any business, is that there's no longer anyone to go to ask a question, and depending on what they say, it is their fault. I am the person now that people come to with questions, and so it's a heavy job in that anything that goes on in the school district, in some ways, if things go wrong, then I am to blame for that, whether directly or indirectly. It all becomes your responsibility.
How does calling off snow days affect your mental health and how much you may like to be gone?
Well, before COVID, I think most superintendents would tell you it's one of the worst parts of the job, because you have two different sides of that call. One, obviously, we don't want anybody to get hurt, and so we're always cautious because we don't want kids to end up in a ditch. And kind of the famous superintendent slogan about snow days is, I would rather receive phone calls from angry parents or have to go longer in May than have to go to a funeral in February. And so you're always trying to be cautious of brand new drivers dealing with the road conditions. The other side of that, and why you don't want to be too lenient, is that there are kids that may not have enough food at home or may not have adequate heating in their houses. And so I know that if I can safely get them to school, then they are fed 2 meals and they're warm and they're cared for all day long. And that may not happen at home where they don't have enough resources and their parents are off at work.
because of your relationship status?
Probably easier, just because he is not my direct boss, and I don't see him as often as when he was principal.
So as a teacher, are you satisfied with Dr. Hoener's work as superintendent?
Oh, yes, I am, sure.
Do you care to elaborate?
I'm not going to speak against my boss about anything, so I support his decisions. It's been a really hard couple of years for not just him, but all the superintendents and all those administrators involved, and I think they are doing the best that they possibly can, keeping the best interests of the kids in mind, and just trying to do what's best for everybody.
As Dr. Hoener's wife, do you notice a change in Dr. Hoener's mood around winter time, especially when it comes to like calling snow days?
Yes, he's very crabby. When we flush ice cubes, we have to do it on the sneak when we are wanting to have snow days at home, and he's just a little irritable when there's snow in the forecast.
So when did you learn your lesson to maybe just let him be around this time, or do you still nag on him about calling off days?
I have never nagged at him in my life, and I probably after the first year when I saw how crabby he got, I just thought that we would just do that stuff on the sneak.
All right, good. Thank you.
Turn it off. Thank you.